So welcome to my channel. That's what we call the good life. Today I'm going to be showing you how you sow seeds. I know a lot of people who are getting started at the moment and sowing seeds, and if you're not sure how to do it, I'm going to give you some really simple, easy ways to sow the seeds to get really good results. Now, if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my allotment, my home garden, and from time to time my home kitchen. So there's a few little bits of essential kit that I use to get you started. So first of all, I've got multi-purpose compost, if I can get the words out. I've got some coir, which I've soaked in water. It's just this stuff here, which I've soaked in water there. I've got some vermiculite. I've got something to put the seeds in. I've obviously got my seeds, the all-important, some tomato seeds there, and I've got something to mark my seed trays with, because I will be doing more than one, but I'm only going to be showing you one today. You want to mark every one you do, and it's also really useful to have a block to level your compost off with as well. And something that I use is I use a heated propagator to get them started. Now obviously we're out in the garden, but once I've put them in there, I'll take them indoors and I'll plug them into the mains, and it will be heated, and that will help them germinate. I do recommend getting a heated propagator because it really does help with successful growing. We will put a link up to the right and in the description and in the allotment shop. I've been asked by Amazon to let you know that we do earn a little bit out of anything that you purchase. It does help us run the channel, so if you do need those items, it would be really great if you could use our allotment shop or use the links in the description. Now on to how we start to sow the seeds. So to get started, I've got a seed tray here as well that I use to mix it up in. So I do about 50-50 of multi-purpose. So if I do, say, 2 scoops of multi-purpose, just 2 scoops coir, and then you just mix them up with your hands like that. So just mix it all up, completely incorporate it like so. Really simple. So there we go, really easy. You can buy seed compost, but by mixing this with coir, I find it works really well, and then you don't have to transplant it quite so quickly. So if you just move this on, and then you literally just drop all the mixed compost, and you pile it into a dome right up to the top. So a lot of people don't do that, and they don't put enough compost in, but you do it right up to the top, and this is where you use your block. So you gently pat it down so it's nice and firm, and then you scrape it off with the block. So that's the purpose of having the block. It's literally just to scrape it off like so, really easily. I went on a course to River Cottage, and this is where I learned how to do this. I mean, I still was able to sow things just by doing it without any real knowledge, but once I'd started doing it the way that they recommended, I got much better germination. So then all we need to do is to put the seeds in. So do try and spread them out evenly. Don't clump them all together, because when you then go to transplant them, it's really awkward if they're all really grouped together. So it's really handy if you put them out into your hand and then just drop them in singularly. I know it's a little bit more work, but if you can be bothered to do it, it is really worth it, because it will make it much easier when you go to transplant them, so that you can handle them a lot easier and they don't get tangled, because they can easily get quite long and straggly and easily get tangled. So I know this is a little bit of a faff, but it's well and truly worth it. So there we go, the last little few. Although I've spread them out, they don't have to be in perfect rows. I mean, all you're trying to do is you just don't want them all really clumped together, because then it will make it really fiddly when you then go to transplant them. So that's all of them in there. Now I'm going to top it with some vermiculite. So let me get my gloves on. Now lots of people bury their seeds down too deep. So one of the things I should say, when you're sowing seeds, as a general rule, the amount you want to cover something with is about the size of the seed. So if we were sowing something like beans or peas, you would put them down deeper. So you would make them up and you would push them down deeper. Because we're starting off seeds that are really small, like tomatoes, aubergines, peppers, you know, leeks, that sort of thing, you literally put them on the surface like that, and then I just use the vermiculite. So let me just slide the compost to the side. Doesn't matter if it mixes in with the soil a little bit. Just slide that to the side. I have a little scoop here, and you just want to do a small dusting on the top. So you just gently cover it, like so. If you haven't got vermiculite, you could just use a little bit of compost, but not too much. You're just trying to gently cover it. You know, you're not trying to sink it down deep. So there we go. And I'm going to be telling you about how you water your seeds as well, because that's something I see a lot of questions on. So again, you do the same thing before. You pat it like so, and very gently maybe just slide off a little bit of excess, but be careful not to drag it too much, because you don't want to take the seeds off as well. So that's all the seeds sown. So that was a really simple process. So it doesn't take long at all. Now, really important thing to do is obviously make sure that you label what you've done. It's really tempting not to sometimes. So type, I've got tomato, and it's Tigerello, or Tigerella I should say. So I shall pop that in there so I know exactly what I'm growing. And then it's time to put it into the propagator. So let's move a couple of bits out of the way. This is the only thing doing it on camera, trying to get everything in so I can show it to everybody. So obviously here's the propagator. Take the lid off. It should come with some capillary matting, but if it doesn't, obviously put some in it for the water to soak into. And then you pop it in your tray. Now this is really, really important. You don't water on the top of it. You water underneath. So you water and it soaks up through like so. So it looks like you put quite a lot in, and I'll keep an eye on that. So I've watered it all in and around, and it will soak up through the holes. And what you'll see is over the next hour or two, the colour of the vermiculite will change colour, and you'll know that it's all soaked it up. So what I'm going to do is an hour or two's time, I'll check that it's got enough water. If there's too much and it's a bit too puddly, I'll pour it off. If it looks like it needs a little bit more, then I shall pop a little bit more water in there. And then just put the lid on and keep an eye on it. So I'll put the lid on it, I'll plug it into the mains. Do check it every couple of days, because sometimes, especially tomatoes, they can grow incredibly quickly, and if you leave the lid on and they've sprouted, they'll go leggy really quickly. So as soon as they've started to sprout through, I generally take the lid on. You can still leave the heat on the heat mat part of it, and if you want to still give it a little bit of heat, if they've not all popped through. But the temptation with an awful lot of people is to leave that lid on too long, and then you'll get really, really leggy seedlings. So I can't emphasise enough, as soon as they're starting to pop through, get that lid off, and then you'll have some lovely plants to transplant when it's ready to do so. Now, I do hope you've enjoyed watching my video, and it's inspired you to start sowing some seeds. If you've already started sowing some seeds, I'd love to hear what you're sowing at the moment, and if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them.